Bonjour! Bonjour!
No. Time for bladder check.
Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Stranger Things Season 4, Episode 4. Yesterday I watched the 3 first episodes. If you want to see my reaction videos about that, I'm gonna put the links into the eye. It was so great to be back into Stranger Things, but I know that today I'm gonna watch the 4 next episodes of that part 1 of the season 4 of Stranger Things. So you know, I prepared myself emotionally. I took a tissue! I know me, I know how I ended at the end of the season 3, and clearly I was a fucking mess. Even if I was into a fucking denial and no, Hopper was not dead and I knew it, I felt it. No matter what, I cried a lot, so that's it. I took a tissue because even if it's not the end of this season, I have the feeling that bad stuff can happen. Even more because since the end of the episode 2, I have the emotion that Max, something bad is gonna happen to Max. Because of the fact that they committed that mistake, you know, for me, you know, now that I think about it, for me it was a mistake to put into the trailer a moment with Max floating like that into the air. Because of that, the fans, they were wondering a lot about what was happening with Max. A lot of persons thought that it was because she would have powers, you know, during this season. I never had that theory because for me, Eleven, she has powers, we know why, and Max, she never went to that process, to the same process. So I didn't think that it could be that. For me, you know, someone was doing that to her, Eleven, someone else with power, or a creature. After discovering during the 2 first episodes what happened to students, you know, targeted by Vecna with last step of the process, them floating into the air and really 1 minute later, bones cracking and this person dying. That's it. We saw her into the air. I mean, clearly what we saw into the trailer, normally 1 second later, she's dead. Are we gonna be really okay with that? Like, I can't see, you know, if I imagine that image on the trailer, I can't see any possibility for her to not die during that moment. Like, I can't remember if Eleven was present or not during that moment. She's into the air, you know, like, really, next step, she's dying. And we had, during the last episode, you know, during the episode 3, Max discovering that she's related to these 2 students, like what happened to them is happening also to herself, and she saw the clock into that nightmare, hallucination, passage to the other world and stuff like that. No. I don't want Max to die. I told you that I have a special connection with the girl, so clearly I don't want her to die. No matter what, I don't want her to die, in fact. And it's awful because clearly, because of the trailer, I'm even more afraid than if I would have only watched this episode, because I know now that there is a moment with her into the air. Like at the end of this episode 3, I could be only like, okay girl, you have to stay away from the woods, don't go into the woods, stay with your friends at any time and you're gonna be okay. We saw her floating into the air, so I know that she's not gonna be okay. The real issue for me right now, because of the trailer, it's can they stop it at the last moment or not? Or am I right? And is she really gonna die? And in fact, into the trailer, they put a spoiler about her dying. I would be really mad if it's the case, because she's gonna die and because they made a spoiler about it. It's the main reason for me to be afraid before this binge watching of 4 episodes. Right now we're trying to save Hopper. The fact that we have a plan around that. I have some issues with that plan because I have the impression that someone stole Joyce's money and we are putting our trust in people that we know nothing about except for the fact that you can corrupt them. I'm not sure that it's really people that we can trust just like that, the soldier, but also Yuri. I'm not sure, we'll see, but at least she's in Alaska right now, she's closer to Hopper, and Hopper is also trying to escape. He made that thing with his ankle that was awful, and he's gonna be able to run away, so we're progressing with that. And with how I'm imagining, you know, this season, I have the impression that maybe this episode is gonna be about saving him, getting him out, maybe the next episode, him coming back home, or already meeting again 11, we'll see, but at least the adults are gonna be back in town for the second half of the season, which could be great, you know, when you think about it. And our guys, our kids, they're not kids anymore, but you know what I meant by that, they're gonna be reunited because 11, she was taken away by these people, you know, with also Mike, Will, all of them, and they're coming back to Hawkins. In Hawkins, they already discovered that there is something around that house because of something that happened before. They're gonna go into this house, I think, during this episode. You know my theory about this house, how they promoted, you know, all of this season around the house, around the clock. For me, this house, it's a passage to go to the other world. We saw into the last episodes that Vecna, this creature, is into this house and is connecting also itself with our world through this house. So I really think that there is a passage just right there, through the clock or not. For me, the clock, it's more something symbolic about breaking time, about doing something with time. Can we repair something? Like, I mean by that can we come back in time if we are repairing what is happening with Vecna? Like, can it be possible? We'll see. But I think that maybe, yes, we're gonna play with time. They promoted so much, so much this season around that clock that I'm imagining something like that. We have a lot of issues also with relationships between characters, with our guys who are growing up, who are changing, evolving. They don't have the same interest, you know, the same interest in life, or just they're not talking to each other that much anymore. They all need to reconnect, you know. I want that. I know that it's a big subject, you know, for this show to explore. We're talking about kids who are becoming adults, so it's logical that we are exploring that big subject about the fact that when you are growing up, you are not keeping all of your friends from when you were a kid, because yes, you are evolving and people are going away also, so we'll see if they are gonna go really deep with that, or everyone is gonna be reunited again and that's gonna be okay, like I want. Like Will, for example, okay, you talked right there that Mike didn't call you that much. What about the other ones? What about the paintings that you are doing? The fact that he didn't want to show that to 11, I think that there is something right there. And Lucas, okay, you trapped these guys, but are you really gonna come back with our guys? Feeling betrayed, like he's feeling betrayed because they didn't go to his game, so we'll see. But I want, you know, these relationships to get better. Nancy and Steve, is it really gonna be a thing, you know? The return of their couple? I'm not against it, but it would surprise me, you know? Like, okay, they were close and they never really went away from each other and stuff like that, so it can make sense for Steve to still be attached to the last real relationship that he had, and for Nancy, because Jonathan is away, to feel close to Steve. But I don't know what to think about it. Okay, I'm gonna stop this intro right now. Let's go for this episode. Remember that if you want, you have my Patreon on which you can have these episodes sooner. I don't know if it's gonna be sooner during the day or one day earlier. At first I thought that it would be sooner during the day only, but I have some issues with YouTube to change. So maybe it's gonna be even, you know, one day earlier, if you can be interested. And no matter what, it's gonna be an extended reaction part. I only edited for now the first episode and it was already 10 minutes longer, because it's really long episodes, you know, so if you can be interested by that and to support me also, it could be appreciated. You know that I'm a little reactor, so I need your support. right there on YouTube with likes and stuff like that, but also on Patreon if you can, even if it's just for 1 month, it would be appreciated. Let's go for this episode 4. Oh, she didn't say love hell like she used to do it from hell, like he's saying.
Right here.
You'll tell them, Max.
A grandfather clock.
It's great.
Vecna's curse. Chrissy's had extra a week ago. Fred 6 days ago.
Yours?
I've been having them for 5 days. I don't know how long I have.
You're not gonna die, Max.
They both died less than 24 hours after their first vision. And I just saw that goddamn clock.
Stay away from the woods. Right here. Lucas? No? I'm sorry, I'm not afraid. I'm glad.
You're in terrible danger.
Oh.
That definitely sucks, but we've got bigger problems than Jason right now.
Yes, she's in danger. Dear Billy, we saw her writing that later. Oh, I have to stop thinking about the trailer. Really, they spoiled too many things on the trailer.
Nice GPA.
Nah.
So we called Vecna's asylum, told them we'd like to speak with Victor Creel for a thesis we're co-writing on. Now all we have to do is charm him and convince him to let us talk to Victor.
Where's mine?
No, not good.
Nancy, you're out of your mind if you think I'm babysitting you. Maybe I can be helpful with this asylum directory. I don't know, I could like turn on my charm.
Nah.
Picture we need.
Oh, you mean that you have to charm with your mind?
We are true academic scholars. Holy shit, there's a lot of power in here.
He's giving you an academic scholar, bud? Yeah.
No, but
She will?
she will.
Oh no!
Oh, please tell me that you're joking.
Oh yes.
Before the cops came, me and Elle, we had a bad fight. I don't know, this one just felt more adult. Like it just felt more real. Like it was a fight that you can't come back from. You're gonna see her again. And whatever it is, whatever you didn't say, you can say it to her then.
I love you!
Yeah.
She wants to hear that.
It was you guys who saved me. It was you guys.
Do it again.
Looks like it's gonna be a test again. It always is, doesn't it? Then we'll hail ourselves a ride. A cheap one.
Your friend.
I know you guys are staring at me.
What? Sorry. You said you needed something? I know.
You have letters for all of them?
You can look at me now.
Sorry.
Hey, well, what are you doing? No, don't. That's not for now. Don't open it now.
Don't. Okay.
That's for when you're gonna be dead?
It's
Our goodbyes.
It's a failsafe. No, I don't need you to reassure me right now and tell me that it's all gonna work out, because people have been telling me that my entire life, and it's almost never true. I mean, of course, that's what curses me. I should have seen that one coming.
You're not gonna die, I swear, Max, you can't. What did you do to
In
Robin?
this thing, and like, itchy. I'm itching all over. And this is a recommendation from Professor Drake.
Yeah, I know Mary. Quite well, actually.
Absolutely, and I do apologize. Don't apologize, Ruth. Screw that. The fact of the matter is, we did put in a request months ago and were denied. And coming here was our last-ditch effort to save our thesis, and I can't breathe in this thing. Well, bros,
Let her do.
These aren't actually my clothes. I borrowed them because I wanted you to take us seriously. Because nobody takes girls seriously in this field. They just don't.
It's a good card to play.
Told me and everyone in Cabin C the true story of the Victor Creel massacre. I was obsessed with the question, what would drive a human being to commit such unimaginable acts? I wanted to be you, so forgive me if I'll now try anything in my power. If I might get the chance to speak to the man that ignited my passion.
Back at 30. You're a day late.
What?
You see, damage to this car. Yuri was on a sightseeing trip to see polar bears.
I think you are Yuri.
And pull him out of cockpit and kill Yuri.
No.
No. You know his name. Someone that we have to trust with our life. You seem fun, but
40,000 American dollars as promised.
they passed, you know, the control things with all of this money. Oh, you're paying too much attention. You're too good at your job, you. He has a... And you don't have... Okay, you have that. Quick enough, silent enough. Silently. And fuck! I said silently! They're not gonna see you? Fine for me. Okay, why not? Okay. Crazy American. Talk to her. Stay away from the woods.
Oh, Mr. Brander let me off early, so just catching up on some chores. I left some letters inside. What if something happens to me? Yes. Baby, nothing is going to happen to you. I'm not trying to scare you. Is something going on there, Steve? No. Is it, baby? No. No, you're right. I'm sure I'll be fine being silly. It's okay. Nothing is going to happen, baby. Promise. Nothing you don't deserve.
You're close! The woods are just next to you, come on!
You think some letters are going to make things right?
She can save herself! She can save herself. He's taking people who are feeling guilty, who are haunted by something. She's gonna read her later to Billy's grave. She's not gonna feel guilty anymore. He's not gonna take her.
Whoa,
right?
I'm fine, just drive.
I found that music has a particularly calming effect on the broken mind. The right song, particularly one which holds some personal meaning, can prove a salient stimulus.
Okay, we are visiting Hannibal Lecter.
We believe you. And because we need your help, we think it's back.
Thanks, by the way.
For what?
For knocking some sense into me. I mean, I was being a total self-pitying idiot.
I didn't say it. I was being a total jerk to Al. I deserved it.
No, you didn't deserve anything.
Anything that happened to you since the beginning of this show?
It's Hawkins. It's not the same without you. And I feel like maybe I was worrying too much about Elle. I don't know, maybe I feel like I lost you or something. Does that make sense? Best friends. Cool.
Your paintings? Can we see them? There is something important on that painting.
Hello there.
What the hell was that?
Okay. We knew that it would happen. Don't park! Yes. Just go. Hurry! I'm sorry, I saw that and I was like, you're gonna get cold. So really not a good time. Really? Peanut butter.